Assalamu alaikum, guys. Welcome back with me and myself and Colin. You right, bruv?
I'm all right, yeah.
Oh, that's good. Right, guys, we're gonna go to our next topic. I wanna ask you a question because we've been talking about history, we've been talking about building confidence, but there's one very important thing that we need to talk about, and it's particularly important in this day and age with social media, because pretty much everything you want to do in one way or another is going to involve social media, but social media can be quite toxic. So how do you deal with negativity, whether it's negative posts, criticisms, unfair criticisms, just people being horrible online or in your professional environment, people saying, nah, you're not good at that, or just, you know, just putting you off. How do you deal with some of this negative vibes, man?
Let's just put this out there first. Doesn't matter what form of criticism it is, or negativity or hate that comes your way. It's not a nice thing, and we're all affected by it. Even though some of us who are ardent and say that can never affect me, I'm bulletproof to that kind of thing. I mean, that's a load of lies. It does affect people, and it's something that we have to take seriously. Now let's move to the next part. What can we do to limit this and to stop this? Now, the only form of criticism that I believe, there's criticism and people who pass this kind of information to you, there's two forms: good criticism and bad criticism. So it's identifying what is good for you and what is bad for you. So if someone tells you you shouldn't wear that because you look ugly in it, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? And understanding what they're trying to say, is it meant for the best or is it the worst? So someone who is passing information to you, if it's not coming from your close circle of family and friends, then I would generally say you have to be very wary and careful how you go about doing that. So if it's from your mum, your dad, your sisters or your brothers, generally they mean well for you, and anything they say to you is going to help you or improve you, or at least hope that that's what they're trying to do. However, we're very quick nowadays to share our world with everybody, not to understand the fact that the evil eye and to bring envy upon us is something that we're all responsible for. So something that you do on a day-to-day, if you buy a new pair of shoes, or you've just got an A in your exam, or you've just come back from holiday, we're very quick nowadays to show the world exactly what I've been up to and what I've been doing. And unfortunately that creates a lot of animosity and envy, also known as hasad, which is evil eye in Islam. So this is the main cause and reason for us actually collecting a lot of that hate in the first place. So I would say to any of those who doesn't like to be criticized or doesn't like to be hurt, who's generally a little bit more sensitive to that sort of thing, to perhaps maybe practice how they would screen their information they would pass on. There's nothing wrong with being on social media if it's used for the right intentions and purposes. But knowing about something that's not going to benefit you has no use whatsoever. I'll give you an example. When the television sets first came out, everybody says, my children, I limit how much TV they watch because there's a lot of nonsense on there. But you have a lot of good stuff on television, and then you have a lot of bad stuff on television. It's being able to filter out the good from the bad. But how do we stop hate coming our way? Very, very simple. If you do not give the ammunition to the people to hate you, then they have nothing to fire back at you. And another thing is being confident and content in yourself is another matter. If you believe that what you know is right, and the only opinion that matters is your family and friends, then the other opinions of others technically shouldn't affect you, because you're not allowing it to enter into your confinement of your personal space. But to make that easier, I would say that limit your activity of what ammunition you give people. Tell people less. It's also a sunnah from the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ in order to limit that information. Not only that, if you get a brand new pair of shoes and somebody who is poorer than you cannot afford a pair of shoes, they may wish envy that they wish they had your shoes on, creating that anger, that hate towards you. But you didn't mean to show off in front of them. You're just happy to show them that you have a brand new pair of shoes. But why do they need to see your shoes? Your shoes is for you. Only you will enjoy it. That feeds back to the ego that you said when you was a singer. Are you showing that so they can say, hey, Khalil, lovely pair of shoes, so you walk around and feel better? Is that why you're doing it? Are you buying a brand new car or house just so someone can say, love your house, Khalil, but who lives in your house? Khalil. Who drives your car? Khalil. Oh, I'll take a picture of my food and I'll show all of my friends on Facebook. But who's eating that meal? Khalil. Is your friends eating that meal? No one but you. So limit your information and also limit what goes in. If people talk, it's up to you whether you want to listen or not. Choose who you listen to. You're in control of your ears, the same way you're in control of your eyes. You're in control with what you take a picture of. So I think this subject, topic, has to be challenged from many angles. I mean, a lot of social media nowadays, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn, people only like to show you the good. They only like to show you how well they're doing. But it's also deemed as very cool to be on social media so that everybody, because everybody's doing it, oh, I'll do it.
Yeah, you've got your TikToks, you've got your Instagrams, whatnot.
But what benefit has social media ever done for any man? Can anybody tell me, apart from potentially earning a living from it, maybe? I think it has more negative effects than it has benefits. I mean, everything that you need to get off social media, you can get off the internet, and you request that when you need that, it's done on your pace, at your time. So, I mean, you've probably got a different, maybe, opinion to this, but how do you feel about the whole, this is affecting predominantly the youth, you know?
Well, for me, because of the different things I do, each, whether it's designing, singing, performing, whatever, each one has its own different sets of critics, if you like. When I first started doing my first radio show, I got a lot of complaints. People say you're talking too fast, you're using too much street slang, da-da-da-da-da. But what I always brought it back to is, one, how confident am I about what I'm doing? Am I certain that this is what I want to do? And am I certain that this is the direction I want to go? Because my radio show, my idea of anything I do is to make it unique, has to be inventive, has to be cutting edge, has to be something that no one else is doing. But the dangers inherent in that is that you're going to be doing things that people are not used to, and it's gonna bring that negativity. So what I always come back to is, am I confident that what I've figured out that I want to do, is that correct?
But are they saying these things to you because they genuinely mean the world for you?
I'm gonna get to that. Yeah. What I do, when I say you do one thing, you get 10 pieces of feedback. You get 10 pieces of feedback, and half of them are negative and another half is wishy-washy. What I do is I look at each piece, if you can, look at each piece of criticism and analyze it. Is there actually some truth? Is there some constructive criticism in what they're saying? Does it align with what my vision is? Does it align with what I think I need to do? Because by and large, people who are watching the telly, who are consuming books, they're not in the creative field. So they're not aware of what makes something good in terms of a book, in terms of a story. Because people who are artists, they are at the cutting edge. They're doing new things, and they have to be allowed to do these new things to create more creativity, to create more excitement, and of course to create more money. So I always, as I said, I always go back to thinking about, based on my history, what we talked about, what I've figured out is my path. What they're saying to it, which is against what I'm saying, do I think what they're saying is valid? That's how I measure up.
Is there a grey area between Khalil the Nasheed artist, illustrator and artist, and what Khalil does in the morning on a Friday when he wakes up and he goes to have breakfast?
Is there a grey area? What do you mean?
Meaning that your personal life and your career is on the spotlight because you're sharing your work through illustrations, you're singing to big crowds of nasheeds. These are not things that you do quietly behind a desk.
No.
These are things that you do in the public domain. So social media platforms are fantastic for this area. But sharing a picture of your food and your car,
yeah, which I did last week actually,
is something completely different.
Yes.
Because people would like to know the man behind the nasheeds. But is there a cut-off point to
Yeah,
saying,
of course.
I cannot show you any more than that?
Oh yes. Yeah, when I done my backing, I didn't tell anybody.
So you waited for the moment to get onto television.
Then I told them. No, yeah, of course there has to be. You have to have a private life. You know, you have to have a private life.
So what you're saying is screen what you want to show and what you don't want to show.
Yeah, but even what you do want to show, which you think is totally awesome and creative and cutting edge, even you'll still get criticism on it. So so at that point, what do? Do you just ignore it, or do you look at it closely to see if it's got merit? That's what I tend to
Or
do.
what about if you share something and it's got nothing to do with your personal life? Does that allow you to still use social media but protect you from that criticism in the sense that you're using it in a slightly different mannerism?
I don't understand.
So if you're sharing, let's say, for example, a slogan, Islamic quote or saying, or a nice picture of a beautiful field and say, Subhanallah, Allah's mercy upon us, and then you share that, I mean, that's then kind of not your views. That's your views based upon...
Yes, but if somebody said something negative about it, then they might, then you think to yourself, well, I know what my intention are for putting that, because I have put in Islamic slogans out, or sometimes I say things on the telly which is Islamically orientated, and I know the history of it. So if I say it and somebody has a problem with it, I'm not going to be too worried about their criticism.
Does that absolve you of any responsibility? Because you're like, it's not technically speaking.
No, you still take responsibility, but you understand why you've said what you've said. And then you can explain, this is why what I said I've said, this is why I've shared it. I can justify why I've said it, and I can also say your criticism is invalid.
So let me ask you again. Your opinion now on social media, is it a good thing or a bad thing?
A very good thing.
Okay, so it's got its ups and it's got its downs. So the ups outweigh the downs.
Yes, definitely, by far.
So we technically speaking have to just re-educate ourselves about how we use these platforms. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Colin, this is getting so deep, bro. Unfortunately, we have to finish for today. Colin, how can I thank you enough for being once again on our show? Thank you so much.
You can make me a cup of tea if you want.
I'll make you a cup of tea. Is there any parting words you'd like to leave our audience with?
I would say to everyone out there that the importance of your prayers. I think the importance of the simplicity of life, about working hard, respecting your peers and your family and your parents, fasting in Ramadan. If you can keep life as simple as it possibly can and always return to Allah and try to live a simple life, inshallah, and remember that all forms of disappointment come from expectation, and to expect only what Allah gives us and to accept it and take it in our stride, inshallah. I wish everybody out there can follow their dreams, choose the job that they love, overcome the challenges, and become superheroes and appear in one of Khalil's books one day.
I mean, thank you so much. Guys, oh my days. Make dua for our beloved brother Colin, mashallah. Once again, thank you so much for joining us here on the Muslim Kid Show. We would love to shake hands, but unfortunately we're not allowed to. So but Colin, airwave, can we do that? Airwave. All right. So once again, thank you guys for joining us. Be sure to never ever miss any of our shows. My name is Khalil Muhammad. Take care. Assalamu alaikum.